Let's talk about the military chart. As you can see, there are allies on one side, Axis on the other side. Take time to learn the different capabilities of the units and their special characteristics. Remember, every good commander needs to know their units and their capabilities. Here's the British military chart, and what we're going to do is talk about the different rows and different columns here. The rows, they have showed different military units, and as you'll notice, each nation will have 5 infantry units and a number of armor units, either 2, 3, 4, or 5 armor units. As you see with the British here, there are 3 armor units available for them. Now, let's look at the different columns and what they mean. The first column is a silhouette. The second column is a unit identification number, just to uniquely identify the units. The next column, it says strength reduction. The first number is a fire strength, and the second number is a reduction. Here on the table we have a few units set out here. We have the number 5 unit, which is the heavy machine gun, the number 6 unit, which is the anti-armor, and the number 10 unit, which is the Sherman. So let's talk about the strength reduction. Let's start with the number 5 unit. He is a 5 minus 2. And how you count this out, the first area you go into is a 5. The next area you go into is minus 2, which would be 3. Next area is a 1. And you do that for the row that you're in and the adjacent rows you're next to. So a heavy machine gun would fire at a 5, 3, 1. He fired a 5, 3, 1. That's his fire strength. Let's look at the anti-armor. He fires at a 6 minus 2. So he fires 6, 4, 2 is how he would fire. He would fire in his column, and also any adjacent column would be the same. First area would be 6, second area would be 4, last area would be 2. The Sherman fires at 10 minus 2. His row and the adjacent rows are the same. It'll start 10, 8, 6, 4. 10, 8, 6, 4. Either column. That is their fire strength. The next column over is the defense factor. As you notice, the infantry, they don't have any defense, and the armor unit shows their front defense there. The infantry units get their defense from the bottom right corner of the card. As you'll see, their defense will be a +5 when they're in the bunker. They're +2 when they're with armor, and they have a +2 defense when they're with the green cube. So, for an example, on this firing here, we're going to fire at the infantry units here. This infantry unit, we get a +2 defense because it is in the same area as an armor unit. This infantry unit will get a +2 defense because it's in the same area as an armor unit. It does not matter if they're in support or in a ready position. Long as the unit is with an armor unit, they get their +2 defense. In this scenario over here, the infantry here would get a +2 defense because he's with has a green cube, and a +2 defense because he's with the armor unit, so he gets +4 defense. The unit up here would only get a +2 defense for being in the same area as an armor unit. The next column area is the unit cost, and this is used in the officer game where you buy all your units. The last column is the special characteristics or special abilities of the units, and we'll get into this in more detail. Now, let's go back to the strength reduction column. As you can notice, this is color-coded. The infantry here are color-coded in gray, and at the bottom down here, you'll notice that that's colored in gray. Infantry units can only fire at other infantry units. The anti-armor is in blue, and it's got a little blue here at the bottom of the card here, and it lets you know that anti-armor can fire half strength at infantry unit and full strength at a bunker. They also can fire at armor units. And all your armor units are in green. In green here, they fire half at infantry and a -3 at a bunker. So in this scenario here, let's take a look at a couple different fires here. Infantry units can only fire with infantry units. So heavy machine gun can only fire at those infantry units there, cannot fire at the armor units. So if you fire here at a 5-3, its strength is a 3, the defense is a 2 because of the armor unit there, so the engage advantage would be set to a 1. An anti-armor shoots at 6 minus 2, 6, 4, but if you see it says half strength at infantry, so half strength of 4 would be 2. So it fired at 2 at these infantry, and the infantry get a 2 defense, the engage advantage would be set to 0. The Sherman fires at a 10-2, 10, 8, 6. Half strength in infantry would be a 3. The defensive infantry would be 2 because of army unit, and the engage advantage would be set for 1 for these units here. So let's show the fire of a Sherman at these army units now. So the Sherman fire at a 10, 8, 6 at these army units. Same column or adjacent columns, the same strength. If we take a look, the defense of the number 10 unit for the Italians is a 5, so the engage advantage be set to 1. The number 8 unit, the Panther, has a defense of 8. So 10, 8, 6, defense is 8, the engage advantage is a -2. The number 7 unit, his defense is a 6, 10, 8, 6, is against a 6 defense, the engage advantage would be set to 0. Now I'm going to show you what is the front defense of an armor. The front defense of an armor, I place these wooden blocks here so you can see this. The first area in front of an armor unit is the front of an armor. The next zone away in a pyramid effect is still considered a front of armor, and the next zone away from that in a pyramid effect is a front of armor. So if you have an armor unit firing from anywhere within this pyramid effect is considered front of an armor. If he's firing outside of that pyramid effect, it's considered shooting at the side of the armor. And if you notice in the bottom left corner of your military chart, the attacker would get +3 to their strength for firing at units on the side. Now I want to show you what an armor unit and an anti-armor unit, when it fires on the side of enemy armor, outside of the front of their defense. Before I told you, you can fire in your row and adjacent row at regular fire strength. Now you know this is additional row over. You can fire one additional row over, but you take a second reduction. For instance, the Sherman fires at a 10, 8, but since it's second row over, it takes a second reduction down to a 6. Since he's firing outside of the enemy armors, he's firing at the side, he gets a +3 to the fire, so his strength would be a 9. So 10, 8, 6 for firing at the side, +3 is 9. And then you look at the different defenses. Defense is a 5, so you set the engage advantage to a 4. Firing at the 7 unit, his defense is a 6, so you're going to set the engage advantage to 3. The number 8 unit, defense is an 8, you set the engage advantage to 1. Now, the anti-armor unit, if you notice his special ability, says diagonal fire. He doesn't take a reduction when he fires an additional area away. So he fires at 6, 4. He does not take that reduction away. Since he's firing on an angle, he'll get the +3. So 6, 4, +3. His fire strength is a 7. Defense is a 5. So the engage advantage would be 2. His defense is a 6. His engage advantage would be 1. And his defense is an 8, so his engage advantage is a -1.